think it's time we have a little conversation. Just you and me. A little one-on-one. I think it's time that we start talking about what's going on. You remember that video that I made about the whole conditioning so that people are used to it? Well, lately I've been coming across quite a few videos in different states, different locations of people hearing loud booms. It's been happening in the last, I don't know, almost a week now. Now, funny thing about that, what's this Friday? And what consists of that day? Or even a little bit before that? Trying to jog the old memory bank. Trying to go back into the old dome here. You know, the old thinking dome. That's right. 4th of July. Duh. And on 4th of July, or the week prior, 7 days before, usually a lot of towns and cities will start their fireworks shows, so that way everybody has a chance to be able to go to all the fireworks shows, right? It happens here in my state too. But in between that, these shows that are going on, people have been hearing loud booms. And of course, you know, this is how I'd rather it be this right now because, you know, thank you for spraying the sky. I appreciate it because it's been pretty brutal up here. Remember when I was talking about the protests and the peaceful protests and how they had the military out there and that everybody was saying it was practices and all this stuff that the military was doing because they were trying to condition people into naturally seeing them every day so that they didn't freak out if something did happen, right? Well, now all of a sudden you got big booms coming from the sky. And they started a little bit after fireworks shows started. Again, they're conditioning you. But then I walked into a spider web. But then they had all these weird little orbs and all these weird little lights and everything going on up in the sky. And it looked like that there was missiles being flown, you know, shot at each other. And people are like, oh, those are just fireworks. Because, you know, fireworks fly like that. They shoot up to the sky like that, all weird. And it's funny because there's these two little orbs that come out as like green and purple. They were spotted here in Vermont too, along with various other states as well. So why would they be doing this a week before the 4th of July, which is the most celebrated holiday in the US? Why would they be doing this? Well, I'm glad that you didn't ask because you probably don't give a fuck, but they're doing this because they want to condition you for what's called Project Bluebeam. Now, if you don't know what Project Bluebeam is, you probably ought to look into it. And you want to know something that's cool and connected? I see things differently than normal people do, but have you ever paid attention to the GIFs on TikTok on this app that I'm recording on right now? You know, the bigger GIFs, you know, the vault GIFs that a lot of us can't afford to even get to that level because we're brokies. But did you ever notice the one big one that's like 15,000 coins, I think, or something like that? It's called the Future City. Do you remember going back in your memory bank and remember seeing the videos that were flying around of the AI whales that were flying through China? Almost like the Future City gift on here. But it's also coincident, like just a coincidence that Future City gift came out after that shit started happening. And do you remember when the whales were actually making noises as they were virtually flying through the buildings and stuff in this part of China? You know, kind of like they do with the whale diving and the Future City. It's almost like TikTok's been trying to show you through the GIFs on here. You know, like the video games that have been showing you stuff, movies, the songs. People are starting to pick up on this shit now. TikTok's been showing you for quite a while through the GIFs. You just got to pay attention to them, not the numbers, but pay attention to the GIFs themselves when they fly through from those that actually can afford to throw them. Because God knows I fucking can't afford to throw them. And a lot of you that are watching my video can't afford it. But you know what? It doesn't matter because that's not what life's all about, throwing GIFs on here. But when they do come through on the screen, pay attention to them. Now, why would they be conditioning everything for this, for the Project Bluebeam? Because there are 3 scare events that are supposed to happen. We've already had 2 of them. Now we're on the last one. I can't. I'm not. We're on the last one. And that is Jesus' resurrection. Which means that projector screen up there, which is a giant circuit board. Of course, you can't see it right now. And I got a little plane that's flying over. Don't mind that. But that's a big projector screen up there. The whole thing is nothing but a fucking giant circuit board. This big old Jesus is going to come up. And yes, you're going to be able to hear what it says. You know, like the Wizard of Oz and the giant head that appears like a hologram. Project Bluebeam is a 3D version of holograms. You know, like the concerts that we're doing, the holograms of people that passed away. What was it? Wasn't it a Michael Jackson concert that they did a hologram, or was it Prince, or was it both? It's weird. Why would they do that? It's almost like they were conditioning you to see that as normal. So when this whole thing goes down and the Galactic Federation does what they do up there and everything's all clear and this guy fucking barking spiders, bro. Can't get away from him up here. When that whole show goes down up there, we're all gonna see it. You're not gonna be able to sleep. Now, why would they be barricading anti-climbing fences? And trust me, I asked ChatGPT because it's actually kind of cool to talk to. Why would they be barricading off the White House to where you can't climb it? Now, when I asked it said it was because there was supposed to be a protest on the 4th of July, right? Supposed to be protesting against the taxes and all that shit, right? Or something like that. I can't remember what it was. And I don't give a shit. But when you ask ChatGPT, it tells you that the protest was canceled. Why are they still setting up the fences? Want to know one of my favorite movies? It wasn't really one of my favorite movies. I'm just making that up. But one of the most interesting movies that's out there called Independence Day. You guys remember that one? You know how the Project Bluebeam. Oh look, there's some blue sky. That's the circuit board. Remember when the mother alien spaceship comes over the White House, sets up on top of it, and goes. Do you remember quite a few years ago when you saw flashes in the windows from the WhiteHouseLiveCam.com? Like they were almost weakening the structure of that building. You know that the areas of that building that people don't actually go because it's been weakened. There's only like, 2 or 3 places they actually go in that building. And now they're barricading it off. They're doing all this boomity boom boom up there to condition people. We got the military down here conditioning people to think it's normal. It's almost like something's going to happen to the White House. But then there's that movie by Obama, White House Down. Isn't that the finishing move in the ending of that movie as well? Huh. I think there's going to be a lot more fireworks and a bigger show on 4th of July than just the puny little shows we see in our states, in little towns. God bless America. You fucking tell them, Sarge. They're conditioning you. Nothing bad's gonna happen. Just enjoy the show. And by show, I mean show. It's gonna be fucking epic. That's the end. That's all I got. Later, tater tits.